years experience, professional experience working in the domain of sales and marketing. I began my career in sales and then transitioned into marketing. The first GMAT, I took it in December 2019. And when I took it in December 2019, I was not pretty sure about taking GMAT or going for a higher study. And I had got job offers on my hand as well for switching. I took it without any prep. And I remember I scored a 570. I was thinking that without a prep also, I'll be able to score a 630, 650. And I then thought, no, let's go back to basics and something. When the scene of the COVID-19 broke up in March 20, that was when I finally decided that it is the best time to go back to studies. And then I enrolled up with Crackverbal and I started my basic preparation. So, for example, in quant, slowly practicing, I realized that I was good at the problem solving, but I was not good at data sufficiency. So my accuracy in problem solving was around 75%, but at data sufficiency, I was at barely 25%. So I did cover a basics and everything and went back. And again, I took my GMAT somewhere in December 20. By then, so I had done like almost 6 months I had studied. Last time during COVID, the work pressures were very different. Morning 9 to 11 in the night, we were working. I would spend my Sundays fully focused on studies. In December, I again scored a 570. I cancelled the score because this time I was clear what I needed and what I didn't require. I understand that there was some issue, some error that was going through. The first 7 questions were data sufficiency. I got stuck for a longer period of time than what I usually should have done. By the time I had wrapped up those 7 questions, my internal sensing had told me that the exam has gone bad. So Jan, I shifted to Pune. Once I shifted to Pune, there were some few things that I brought in. The first thing was discipline. So I fixed a time. So after 11 p.m., I would sit to study for an hour and I would study for 2 hours at least, so till 1 p.m. So there was a lot of discipline they brought in here in my approach and was purely focused on GMAT. Unlike last year, while I was also like going through blogs, deciding what B schools I should be applying. Here I was doing nothing else apart from the GMAT. I had finished OG, but OG didn't really help me. Done from my first test from 570 to 630 to 680. That was how I was gradually moving in the pre-test courses that were giving. By the time I had entered May, I was pretty sure that now I should give my GMAT. I had fixed a target of 730, 49 at quant, 42 at verbal. That was what I had said. And I was someone who would have always preferred giving it in an offline mode. But given the conditions in Maharashtra, so I was pretty sure that I won't be having an option of giving in offline mode for another couple of months. So then finally booked the GMAT online on the 1st of May. When I sat for giving my exam, so there were some issues with the Wi-Fi, the exam crashed twice, and then I couldn't complete it again. Then in the evening, I shot a mail to the GMAT team stating that these were the issues and I should be allowed a reschedule for that. So they came back after 7 days stating that you can take a reschedule, we have verified, but you will have to wait for a 16 days period. So within that 16 days period, I fixed a couple of other errors that I saw in the last exam. I saw that my personal laptop had a limited GB RAM, so might be that was an issue. So I borrowed a laptop for a friend because my office laptop would not suit the purpose. Then I brought an adapter for my Wi-Fi. So in case there's a power cut, that should not disturb me. So after fixing things, I remember I gave my exam again on 18th. So I remember in quant, I was double prepared this time in that sense. I actually wrapped up my quant prior to the time limit. I guess somewhere around 5 minutes odd I had wrapped up. There were of course a few of questions which I took a calculated guess. In verbal, what I did is, again when I remember, so I actually took a lot of time in sentence correction and all that. And it was the paragraph reading where I tried to speed up. Because I had understood that paragraph reading was something which I was very accurate at compared to sentence correction all. So that was how section wise I went around. So I had hope that I would cross 700 plus 730 my benchmark. So I ended up scoring a bigger score than that, what I had expected. So the first time when I took my GMAT, I honestly would say like I had CAT in my mind and I had figured that this is what it would be like. If you don't know something, you can skip that. In GMAT, you can't skip it. And if you end up answering it negative, there are negative repercussions. So that was one big difference challenge here that I understood after taking my first GMAT. By the time I had given my second GMAT, which I cancelled, so realized that even though you do a lot of basic studies, it doesn't really help until unless you go back, you would start taking tests, you understand what like in subsections, where are you standing and how do you strategize for the subsections. For verbal, I'll say the Crackverbal course really helped me in understanding the sentence correction part. Once I started, I realized that my sentence correction accuracy improved a lot, but I started spending a lot of time in sentence correction. So that is why I strategized that paragraph reading is something where I need to save on time because I need to spend time on sentence correction. Critical reading and reading comprehension, I would say, so once I started reading a paragraph, so if I've read the first paragraph, I'll always write a 2 to 3 words as a summary of that first paragraph. and then I'll move on to the second para. It ensured me to help that I never had to go back and reread that entire reading comparison again to answer the questions. So that is something that helped me as a strategy in this time. When I started spending time on problem solving, I ensured that I spend a little more time compared to data sufficiency and ensure that it is 100% correct. I started bringing in the calculated cases that I started understanding how you should take in to eliminate the options in data sufficiency. That is one something that helped me really in improving my data sufficiency. First, I really focused on accuracy, improving my accuracy. That was the first thing. Once I had improved my accuracy level from, let's say, another 60% to 80-85%, that is when I started going back to timing and observing how much time I'm spending. And when I went back to timing, I started observing cross section wise, like how much time I am actually spending on a geometry question, how much time I'm actually spending on a, let's say, algebra question. That helped me to figure out what is the average time I'm spending on each question and then how to improve on it. I realized that my algebra was stronger than my geometry. So if something is my strong, I should spend a little lesser time. And I figured that what something that is weaker, I should spend a little more time in addressing that question. So that helped me improve my accuracy again. Nothing works like a disciplined preparation for a guy like me. My score was out on the 21st of May, which was my birthday. So 21st of the May in the evening, I went out to meet finally people. If I have to brush daily, I have to study daily. That is how it is. So 2 hours was daily. So if today I picked up a quant, so next day I'll pick up a verbal or something. And if I'm reading a theory or something, so next day has to be a practice set for that. So yes, analyzing every test, going back in the subsection helped me improve on it. So for example, when I went to 580 to 630, so that was a marginal difference of 50 points, but that gave me a real good boost. So it helped me figure out that I can improve. So it gave me that self-confidence. Giving those tests are really very important before the exam. First thing I would say that one needs perseverance. So let's say someone who might be in a 8 to 10 hours job of sales and marketing. So compared to IT guy, our work is very different because you move out in the field, you go into the market. So that's a travel that you also do. So that also takes on a toll on the physical body. So you need to have focus and patience as the first thing. There is nothing like it's not uncredible because normally people when they study in school, I understand that most of people are always good in maths and English, and that is what GMAT tests you on. So they're the basic skills. So there is nothing that one needs to be frightened of. Focus and patience are the two things that everyone needs to keep. Like depending on the working hours. So what time are you dedicating to the studies? And lastly, like I said, you need to have a strategy. Analyzing your own scores will only help you to improve further. And until you do that, you will never really won't understand that why it went bad.